Hi, welcome to another video. In this video, I want to quickly cover Booklet B of the PSLE English syllabus paper 2. Booklet A, which is the MCQ section, has already been covered in a previous video, so I'll try to leave the link somewhere in the video. My name is Darren and I'm the English tutor from EnglishTuition.org. So very quickly, Booklet B consists of 5 sections. So the entire paper 2 is a total of 95 marks, and Booklet A already takes up 28 marks, so that leaves 67 marks for Booklet B itself. So this 67 marks is divided into 5 different components. The first component is the grammar cloze passage. So the grammar cloze has got helping words that will help the students out. So this section itself is 10 marks. Generally speaking, most students do not have problems in this section. Where I see students having problems with the section is when they encounter certain connectors which they cannot distinguish between. So they may be confused between things like when to use while and when to use, say, a connector like because or for, right? And therefore they choose the wrong answer. So if they choose the wrong answer, usually the mistakes is made in pairs. So one answer is wrong and the answer cannot be used twice, so another blank is wrong as well. Okay, so typically the scores, most students do not have problems with it, right? They will get like 8 upon 10, 10 upon 10. So if possible, I will always recommend that students do check through the work and try to get 10 upon 10 for this particular section, because it's very easy, right? For students who are weak in grammar, then just try to make the last minute effort to try and improve the grammar, because grammar, this is a language paper, and grammar affects every single component of the examination. And if you are not good in grammar, don't expect to do well and score well in this paper, right? And that's one of the primary reasons why I spend a lot of time doing foundation building for my students, right? Okay, the next section is editing. So editing, again, you're tested on grammar and spelling, right? So these two types of mistakes can be quite clear within the question itself. So the mistakes, they will give you a text passage, and then the mistakes are underlined, so students are expected to give the correct answer. So students who are already strong in grammar will find no problems identifying the grammar mistakes and then coming out with the right answers. But students who are weak in spelling may find that certain spelling questions, they may have difficulty trying to spell certain words. So spelling is something that you can't really try to guess, right? So it's either you know or don't know kind of scenario. And if you do not know a particular word, okay, then you lose the marks. And don't be surprised that certain words we assume that students know how to spell, right? For example, last year's PSLE, the editing exercise, one of the questions asked the students to spell the word scissors. So scissors is a very easy word, at least in my opinion, right? Everyone knows what a pair of scissors is, and the assumption is that most students know how to spell this, right? But apparently when I check with my students, many of them do not know how to spell this word, or maybe they spelled it wrongly, right? They spelled the word scissors without one S or with double C, that kind of thing, right? So do go through your spelling list. If you've thrown it away, then you're out of luck. So last minute revision, PSLE, check through your spelling list, refresh your memory, where are the double L's, double C's, double S, that kind of thing, right? So that you don't make these careless mistakes during the actual examination itself. Okay, now the next section is the open-ended comprehension cloze. So it's called comprehension cloze for a reason, right? Students need to read through the entire text and look for clues and guess what are the answers to the questions, right? But this particular section can be very challenging for many students because there are no helping words, and students need to come up with their best guess, and usually students who jump to conclusions get the answers wrong. So the right approach is to really need to look out for the clues that are given within the passage, and if possible, use your grammar to help come up with the right answers. There's no shortcut to success for this exercise. It's a 15 marks section, very heavy weightage. So students will need to practice in advance and learn to identify which words are grammar words, which words are vocabulary words, which words are adjectives, and so on and so forth. So that will help them narrow down their options and help them get a better score in their open-ended cloze passage. And this is very doable, just to let you know, right? So some of my students, they come and then they were scoring like 5 marks, 6 marks for the open-ended cloze passage, just or barely passing like at 7 marks. So to me, that's not good enough. In order to want to do well in this PSLE paper, students must aim to score at least 10 and above. Okay, for this exercise, that's the minimum target that I set for all of my students. Alright, so the next section is about the sentence synthesis, and this is another killer section for many students. Of course, the more advanced students will find it easy. Okay, but then I do have students who come back and tell me, right, they've scored like 0 marks for the sentence synthesis section, and they couldn't figure out why they couldn't score for this particular exercise. So this exercise is not MCQ, so students are supposed to write out the entire sentences by combining a couple of sentences without changing its meaning. And this is a difficult task because when a sentence, when you try to combine two sentences together, new grammar rules may apply. So if students forget about these grammar rules, then they are bound to make mistakes, right? For example, just a simple topic like adding two nouns together. So when a singular noun is always matched with a singular verb. So Tom is, Sally is. But we combine these two nouns together, right? Tom and Sally. Okay, then it's no longer a singular verb, and you need to change the singular verb to are. So and why not were? Because is present tense, right? So if you want to change the verb to a plural verb, okay, we keep the tense. So are, right? So is we change to are. So these are the kind of mistakes that students must look out for. And when the schools train the students, okay, to do well in this exercise, they are actually very strict in their marking. So you forget certain alphabets here, certain alphabets there, one S or one T, these are the kind of mistakes that cost you marks, right? That cost the student marks. And each question is worth 2 marks. There are 5 questions, a total of 10 marks. So if you make one careless mistake here, one careless mistake there, then you give all your marks freely away. So again, there's no shortcut to success for this section, sentence synthesis. Do continue the regular practice. All right, my students are continuously doing this almost every single week, so that I make sure they understand and can remember all the different topics very well, and they know where the pitfalls are. All right. Okay, and the last section is the open-ended comprehension. Now this section itself is worth 20 marks, very heavy weightage. So open-ended comprehension tests the students' reading skills, okay, as well as the comprehension skills. Now to do well in this section, students need to comprehend and try to understand the text passage as much as possible. And since it's a language paper, okay, you'll be tested, about certain words, certain language that are being used in the passage itself. And the students will need to demonstrate that they understand these words and phrases, right, through answering a series of questions. And then to do well, okay, the second thing that students need to take note of is to keep in mind the question answering techniques, right? Make sure that you are answering the question and not just blindly copying the answer from the passage and putting it into the blanks, right? Maybe for foundation English students, they can still do that and get away with it, right? But for PSLE standard, it's a bit more advanced, right? And students need to be careful of that, just to pick the relevant information, right, that the question is asking for, and then include that in your answer. It will be beyond the scope of this video to go through all the different question types, so I'll probably leave that for another video. So I come to the end of this video, so hopefully you find something useful, some tips for you or for your child, right? And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.